My name is James. I'm from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada, and I'm a Harley-Davidson technician, primarily working on twin cams and Milwaukee 8 motors. Well, this is a 1979 74-inch Shovelhead. The original intention was not to chop it, and then the Biltwell People's Champ came up, and then I started cutting the frame down and stuff. This is a 1983 wide glide front end frame that I got from my dad. He passed away about 6 years ago and I inherited it from him. So I was pretty stoked that I was actually able to use his frame and kind of keep it rolling and, you know, have it in the family still. The idea behind this bike is the David Bowie suit that I've kind of been putting on my Instagram and stuff. And I really wanted to flow off of like the eccentric lines with his pants and kind of create like a, I don't know, like a very untraditional looking chopper. I think like with the twisties and whatnot, that's kind of a cool avenue that sort of faded away with time. Like not a lot of guys are twisting stuff anymore. Like you'll see the frames that get twisted, but like I've never seen a twisted exhaust or a one-sided twisted sissy bar. So I wanted a lot of parts to be sort of new to the scene in a sense. And you know, I'm sure a lot of guys have done this kind of stuff before, but for me, this is all brand new and I want to kind of bring something new to the table. So yeah, it's all very much modeled off of that David Bowie suit. And yeah, that was sort of my main direction in that case. This is kind of funny because I actually like hated this detail at first, but the bars were like the first thing that kind of really set the bike off. But the more it started going together, they kind of started to take shape and I started seeing lines in the tank matching with the bars and flowing with the headlight and then matching with the tail light. So I'm actually really stoked on it. And of course, like the exhaust and everything too, that is a pretty unique part that I really like. The idea with these was to create sort of like a, I guess like a homemade baffle without actually having a baffle in there. So all these cross joints have slotted holes inside that have different diameters. So I was trying to create reversion, and so far it seems to be kind of working because I'm not getting like crazy pop or anything like that. And yeah, and then the footless footboards. These are like high on my list of stuff I really like, mainly because of the comfort factor. So it was kind of a play off of the clutch lever, and it kind of set the direction for the crisscross and the split. And the crisscross was not necessarily my like go-to for direction on this bike. And then after I made these two parts, it kind of made me want to go in that direction a little more. Yeah. Sissy bar for sure is another fun part. This was probably the funnest part to make, I think, on the bike. Basically, we just shoved a pipe all the way down and then heated the daylights out of this wrapping one and just twisted the thing around. And it felt a little more goofy when we were making the thing because we're just heating up metal and twisting it, not really sure what was gonna happen. And I think this was like number 4 we did or something like that. And this is the one we kind of sat back and looked at and we're like, sure, that'll do. I sort of wanted this bike to be like a mullet, like it's sort of business in the front and then kind of party in the back. So that was sort of the I guess like the motivation and the direction at the end of that was like, yeah, this thing's like a mullet. Some of the biggest struggles were just learning and inexperience. Like I learned how to weld on this bike and, you know, lining things up and learning how to manipulate metal this is a first for me. And it's been really good, but it's been really trying. And you'll make a part and it won't fit good. So you throw it out and you do that 6 times over until you get it as good as you possibly can. And then you get to a point where you're just like, I gotta just step away from it because it just consumes you, right? And then you're thinking about it all night and it never ends. And yeah, well, finances and the deadline for sure. Those are the biggest ones, definitely. Like it's very expensive to build a chopper from the ground up. And that's a thing I'm sure all the other builders can attest to. Like it's you know, we made it, but we pushed for it and we got there. And I'm really thankful I have good buddies to help me out and stuff because without them, I wouldn't have made it. There's no way. New skills, welding. That's my new favorite skill out of this thing. I wouldn't say by any means that I'm a good welder at this point, but I'm still really enjoying it. And I think this is kind of the first platform where I can really progress and learn a lot more about how to weld properly and how to make welding look good. Painting too. I painted this bike here and that really tested me, but I'm super happy with how it came out. I put my absolute heart and soul into this paint, but that was a whole experience and avenue that I've never done before to this extent of wet sanding and, you know, proper prep work. And, you know, spraying in a little garage is always a scary factor because things are falling over, you got overspray all over the place, and trying to make it look good when you got dog hair floating all over the place and shit. And it rides really good. And I'm not just saying that, like it's comfy. It was scary as hell the first time I took it out because I'm expecting something to fall off or something to explode, but that's just me getting inside my head. But it's surprisingly comfy. Like when I'm jamming down the road with the high mids, I can pretty much put my elbows on my knees and like I feel like I could ride this thing to the moon and back. Like it's really, really comfy. It's like the tiniest couch glide you'll ever see. First of all, my wife for sure. She's number one on the list, yeah. Without her, none of this would be happening, right? So thank you, Sarah. Justin and Max for sure. They've been huge in this build. My in-laws were really helpful in all this too. All the people on Instagram, like if I had Chrome problems or anything like that, like people had a million suggestions for me. So I was really thankful for the camaraderie with the builders and just the Instagram community, which really just nice people that are willing to help you, which is great. Joel from Butt Seats, he really helped me with the seat, so thanks Joel, appreciate that, man. Duncan Speed and Cycle. Duncan and Dave have been really helpful where I work. Yeah, Kai, thank you Kai for helping me with lathe stuff, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's it for thanking people perhaps.